new exhibit at the Crocker Art Museum celebrates the otherworldly work of the Transcendental Painting Group, an often overlooked group of 20th century abstract artists. Let's go and talk to Scott Shields, the Chief Curator and Associate Director, about this illuminating exhibit. So Scott, tell us how we're being taken to another world with the new exhibit here at the Crocker Art Museum.
Well, this is a show of a group called the Transcendental Painting Group, and it was a group of artists mostly out of New Mexico. One lived in Southern California, and they really sought to evoke the spirit. And it's that another world is really what's inside the artist and what's inside you.
Yeah.
And so you feel this passion that sort of comes through their paintings and really hits you in the heart. And that was what they intended to do.
Yeah, and I understand the artists from this group, they were constantly overlooked. Why is that, and why was it important to the Crocker to highlight them here?
Well, there's a couple reasons that they kind of were overlooked. One, in the 1930s and 40s, when these works were created, most artists were doing scene painting. So they were doing scenes of farms and cities and social views, and very few of them were doing abstraction. So that was number one. Number two was the fact that they were in New Mexico, and most of the art world is centered and still centered in New York City. And so they were out doing their own thing in the desert and weren't given much attention until relatively recently.
Wow, and so describe the artistry that guests can expect to see when checking out this exhibit.
So almost all the works are abstract. There's sometimes representational elements in them. But it's abstraction with a purpose. It's not abstract expressionism. It's really very precise, and they're really trying to communicate on a deep spiritual level. And even if you don't think you like abstraction, these paintings are so beautiful, and they're so filled with color and geometry and these forms, and they hit you in a way that you don't have to understand a thing about them to feel what they're trying to do.
Yeah, just walking through here, I mean, it's an experience in itself. The artwork, like you mentioned, you see the illumination through just how they did it. Where did the inspiration from this group and their artistry come through?
So it comes from a lot of different things, from everything from the light of New Mexico and the Southern California desert to different religions. Some were interested in Buddhism, some in theosophy, and there was also some influence from European abstractionists like Kandinsky. And so all of these things were coming together in their work, and including even American moderns like Georgia O'Keeffe, who was also in New Mexico, and there's a lot of parallels to what Georgia O'Keeffe was doing. But they would say that Georgia O'Keeffe was a very good painter, but she wasn't very spiritual.
And out of all of these, I mean, I have to ask Scott, do you have a favorite piece?
You know, I have multiple favorite ones, but if I had to pick one for me, it would probably be Agnes Pelton's Alchemy. And Agnes Pelton is probably the star of the show because she's the one that she had a show at the Whitney not very long ago, and she's really becoming well known. And this particular piece is just so filled with light and spirituality, and it literally glows off the canvas. And I don't know how you do that as a painter, is to make it look like the canvas is lit from within, but she's managed to do that.
And what do you hope guests take away from when they come to this exhibit and get to experience it? What do you hope they take away from it?
Well, I hope, number one, they take away an appreciation for this group of artists that really should have a much greater place in American art history. And then I just hope that you take away the idea that there can be more to abstraction than just pure line-shaped color, that it can be deeper than that. And that's really what they were trying to do, and I think they achieved it. And I think that people walk through, they feel it.
And in addition to this new exhibit, I mean, there's always stuff happening at the Crocker Art Museum. I understand there's some themed events coming up. Could you tell us about those?
Yeah, there's a lot of them. I probably won't tell you about all of them, but there's one of them is a mass meditation that's coming up on the International Day of Peace on September 21st.
Yeah.
It will start at the Crocker at noon. Everybody will start mass meditating, which makes perfect sense with this show because they're so meditative.
Yeah.
There is also an art mix on September the 8th, which the theme is supernatural, which also fits with this show. And that's more of a party with different events and alcohol, and so a different way to experience this artwork. So those are just a couple, but you can check on crockerart.org and get more.
All right, you heard it from him. You can get more information at crockerart.org.